My name is Ellis Thorn. I do not sleep without a light. I do not walk near old stone. I cannot bear the scent of hawthorn in bloom. This is why. In the autumn of 2018, my cousin Gareth left London for the silence of the North Yorkshire moors. He was to study theology. He found cheap lodging at a bleak farmstead called Moorcross. The land was dominated by one thing: a monstrous ancient hawthorn tree. It grew not from the field, but from the shattered heart of a 12th century chapel ruin. Its roots had cracked the altar stone, cradling it in a grip of gnarled wood. The old farmer met him at the gate. His voice was the sound of stone grinding stone. "That tree," he said, not pointing. "The monks called it the bride's pillar. They built their chapel to contain it." He fixed Gareth with a milky eye. "You do not pray near it. You do not speak vows near it. And you never, ever answer when it calls your name at dusk." Gareth, a man of books and modern faith, dismissed it. Rural superstition. The silence was the first truth to unsettle him. It wasn't an absence of sound. It was a consumption. The wind died at the property line. No sheep, no birds. It was a vacuum, a held breath. He first saw her at the well, just after twilight. A figure in a gray, old-fashioned dress, a face pale and lovely in the gloom. She said her name was Alara, that her strict family kept her confined. She could only wander at night. Gareth, lonely and far from home, was captivated. Her beauty was a perfect, unsettling stillness. Her touch, when she took his hand, was a cold that seeped into the bone and stayed. She began to appear in his locked room, sitting in his chair when he returned. "Locks are for the living, Gareth," she'd whisper. "I am of this place. The stone knows me. The tree holds me." He fell swiftly, and as he did, he began to wither. The robust seminarian grew gaunt. He lost 2 stone in weeks. His skin turned waxy and cold. He woke exhausted, his sheets tangled and damp, smelling of turned earth and decayed roses. Bruise-like marks, like delicate grasping fingers, appeared on his wrists. His Bible sat unopened. His prayers felt thin, snatched away by the listening silence. He was being drained, not of blood, of warmth, of vitality, of faith itself. Terrified, he confessed to the farmers. The old woman crossed herself. "The gray bride," she breathed. "We warned you." They called the local vicar, a man of steadfast belief. He hid in the wardrobe that night. When Alara glided to Gareth's bedside, the Reverend burst out, crucifix held high. "In the name of God, I command you, spirit, be gone." Alara turned her head slowly. The tender sadness on her face melted into ancient contempt. Her mouth opened. The voice was not hers. It was a chorus of whispers, of wind through a ruin, of roots grinding stone. "Your God is a guest in these hills. I was here when the first prayers were etched into this rock. I am the memory in the stone. He is mine. The crucifix in the Reverend's hand did not blacken. It froze. A rime of hoarfrost crystallized over the brass, so cold it burned his skin. He dropped it. It shattered on the flagstones like glass. He fled. It was the old farmer who fetched Meredith, a hunched woman who knew the older things. She carried no Bible. She carried graveyard dirt, water from a north-flowing stream, and spikes of cold iron. She listened, her eyes on the hawthorn through the window. "The tree is her heart," she said, her voice dry as leaves. But the monks, they didn't cage the hunger. They gave it a new name. This one is just ours. She gave Gareth instructions. Terse. Terrifying. She had him scatter dried lavender and myrtle, herbs of marriage, around his room. She gave him a cheap tarnished ring. That night when Alara appeared, Gareth spoke, his soul quaking. "You're late, my love. I've made our promises to another." He held up the ring. The temperature plummeted. The glass on his nightstand froze and cracked. Alara's face stilled. A mask. Another? The word was a drop of ice water. "She came at sundown," Gareth lied. "She said the vows with me. Here." He pointed to the empty space. A low vibration began in the floor stones. An impostor? To wear my face? To steal my promise? For one heartbeat, the glamour ripped away. Gareth did not see a woman. He saw a column of writhing, thorny roots clustered around a hollow where a heart should be. Inside that hollow, something pale and many-angled glimmered. Then the beautiful Alara was back, but her eyes were voids of starless night. "There is a way to seal your vow," she hissed. "To make it proof. You must come. Now." She led him out into the moorland night, to the ruin under the hawthorn. She pointed not to the great tree, but to a smaller, stunted offspring, a gnarled thing, its thorns curved like claws. "Uproot it. Bring it to our chamber. It will be our talisman. It will break all other bonds." His mind screamed. His body obeyed. The soil gave way with a wet, sucking sound. The roots dripped a thick sap that smelled of myrrh and decay. When he turned, she was gone. Meredith was waiting. She took the thorn tree, her face grim. This is her echo. Her spite made wood. With frightening speed, she broke the branches, weaving them into 3 cruel circlets, binding them with iron wire. She whispered words that were not English, guttural sounds that made Gareth's teeth ache. She fastened one around his neck, one around his left wrist, placed the last, largest, like a crown of agony, upon his head. "They must never leave your flesh," she said, her eyes like flint. "Not in sleep. Not in washing. If you remove them, you are hers." The next night, Alara returned. She halted at the threshold. Her beautiful face twisted into a rictus of fury. The air hummed. Remove those thorns, my Gareth. They are a lie. They will keep your heart from mine. They are pain. Gareth stood silent. The thorn crown burned like ice on his brow. Days passed. Weeks. Her visits became spectral. A face at the rain-lashed window. A handprint of frost on the glass. Whispers through the keyhole. I have been patient for centuries. I can be patient longer. The stone endures. The root deepens. I will have your warmth. And if I cannot have yours, I will take the warmth of your bloodline. Your sister's firstborn. Your mother's last breath. I will sip from the roots of your family tree until it is barren. But the thorns held. Gareth left Yorkshire. He lives in a city of noise and light. He is safe. But he is not healed. He is changing. The thorns are a part of him now, a constant, aching reminder. He cannot remove them, not ever. And he has begun to notice things. A potted plant in his flat withered and died, its soil turning to gray ash. His reflection sometimes holds a second too long. Last week the pipes burst. Forced to shower at a gym, for one terrible moment, he removed the thorn bracelet. The water turned to ice. In the steam on the mirror, two words formed etched in a film of gritty black sap. Found you. When he put the bracelet back on, he saw it. The skin beneath the binding was no longer skin. It was gray, smooth, and fibrous, like the bark of a young hawthorn shoot. He knows the truth Meredith would not speak. The bindings are not a shield. They are a grafting. He is not keeping her out. He is being made into a vessel, a new anchor point. His life is the sap, growing something new inside the husk of him. But last month, I went to visit him, to check in. He made me tea with hands that were too steady. The room was warm, but a chill clung to him, a pocket of moorland air. As I was leaving, my coat caught on his bookshelf. A small framed photograph clattered to the floor. It was a picture of me, from a family gathering years ago. I picked it up. The glass was suddenly, sharply cold. And I saw it. In the bottom corner of the photo, blurred in the background, was the silhouette of a tree on a hill. And from one of its branches, a faint grayish shape seemed to be leaning forward, as if it had just noticed the camera, as if it had just noticed me. Gareth saw me looking. He didn't speak. He just slowly, deliberately touched the thorn crown on his head. And in his eyes, eyes that were once so full of light, I saw no fear. Only a deep, terrible, and patient knowing. This is not a ghost story. It is a germination. The oldest evils use your faith as fertilizer. They do not haunt places. They propagate. Through stone, through root, through blood. So listen closely. If you are ever offered a comfort that chills your core, if you feel the gaze of an old, twisted tree upon your prayers, if you hear a vow whispered from the very soil beneath your feet, flee. But ask yourself, as you sit safely in your home listening to my voice, what have you taken from a place like that? A story? A memory? Are you sure it's just a story? Or is it a seed? And who is listening to it grow right now? If you have a story that has taken root in your soul, if you have a truth that needs to be told, send it to us. Let it become a tale for the Dread Codex. Share your encounter at contact.thedreadcodex@gmail.com. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Your engagement waters these stories, so be very careful what you choose to grow. Until next time, sleep well and listen closely.